Hi Krishna, welcome. We're going to be looking today at how to use Dr. Best Learn to Read. It's a very simple program to use and very effective and fun. First, what we'd like to do is have an overview of the program and its special features. Then we're going to go through in section 2 how to teach everything systematically. Then we're going to demonstrate the teaching with some children. As far as the general scheme of the program, we have three boxes, yellow, then green, then pink. This is beginning, intermediate, advanced. To see the exact order of the books, look in the back of any book and you will see how the books are used in order. This is in the yellow box, the green box, and the pink box. The books are in order by several international standard systems of teaching learning. This left-hand column represents the phonics levels, the levels that we're introducing different spelling and sound combinations. On the right-hand side, the numbers represent what's called reading recovery, which are very fine levels of teaching reading. The letters represent what's called Phonics and Pinnell, and the colors represent the United Kingdom book band system. In this way, you can understand the level of difficulty of each book according to 4 different systems. These systems on the right all deal with what's called guided reading. They take into account the vocabulary used, the lengths of the sentences, the number of sentences per page, the number of pages in the books, the complexity of the ideas taught, the punctuation marks used, and many other things. For example, you can see in this book, the font is size 30. There's only 1 sentence per page. On a higher level book, the font has gotten smaller and there's more sentences per page. In an even higher level book, the font has not only gotten smaller, but it has serifs and there's more sentences per page. In this way, there's gradual progression of difficulty, not only in what kind of sound and spelling is used, but in 20 different factors per book. Each book in the series also has an activity book that accompanies it. Each activity book also goes gradually from easy to complex within the book itself, and it goes from easy to complex from one book to another. So this is an easy one, and this is a higher level one. And as with the color books, the activity books go also step by step. So it gives you a very nice progression with the books and the activity books from one level of difficulty to the other. And also, as we pointed out, everything is coordinated with international standards of teaching reading. So that whatever country you're in the world, you can coordinate these books with other books. And therefore, you can easily supplement this with outside books and greatly add to your reading program. These series are arranged so that if you take the children step by step, they will learn how to read. You'll notice that on each of the white books, it says Phonics Phase, and it gives you a phase. This one says 3, Phonics Phase 3, Week 2. The idea is that for native English speakers, 1 book and 1 activity book represents approximately a week's worth of instruction. That's assuming you're doing 5 days of instruction at about 15 to 30 minutes per day. If you have much lower than 20 minutes per day, it will probably take you a week and a half. With non-native English speakers, it may take up to 2 weeks per book. Although we've also listed the books on Phase 6 as taking 1 week, like this says Phonics Phase 6, Week 5, once you're in the Phase 6 level, you can take up to 2 or 3 months per book because each of the Phase 6 books, activity books, are rich with stories that can also be expanded upon. Here we have a sample of 1 book from each of the 6 phases. The phases are according to the UK letters and sound systems and indicate the phonics level. So here we have a book and an activity book from phase 1, from phase 2, from phase 3, from phase 4, phase 5, and from phase 6. Of all these phases, phase 1 is markedly different. Phase 1, there's one teacher guide for 4 books. You can see the 4 books listed here. This phase 1 guide does not get photocopied for the students and is really only to be used with quite young children, let's say ages 2 to 4, who've had very little experience with print, with books, and with language. In America, we would say we'd use this for a nursery school. This gives you instructions how to go through these books and teach the children about sounds and about print. If you're dealing with children who are already about age 4 or 5 and already have some experience with print, with sound, and with books, you do not need to use phase 1 at all. The phase 1 books are not designed as part of the phonics program. In other words, there are a lot of words in these phase 1 books that the children are not going to be able to read phonetically as part of the phonics program. This is just to introduce children to what we call reading behaviors. After finishing the phase 1, then we actually start the reading program. The reading program starts with the book Sita Sat at the Temple, which is a bridge between phase 1 and phase 2. Let's look at a typical phase 2 book. And what we're going to see in the phase 2 book applies to, practically speaking, every book in the series. The way you start out each activity book, color book combination is first teaching the word families. Every white activity book has a set of word families. Instructions for how to teach the word families are on this page. There's 2 different sets of instructions depending on how you choose to teach. After going over the word families, then students continue in this book to practice the new sounds and to practice the words in the word families. So these are all word family activities. Now, in addition to learning the word families, every book also has what's called tricky words. Here in this particular book, we have the tricky word to, T-O. So there are teaching pages for that tricky word. In most of the white activity books, there are also pages that have to do with spelling and grammar. For example, in this book, you can see we have a lesson on plurals. After the students complete these pages in the activity books to learn the word families, the tricky word, and whatever grammar and spelling is being taught, you then get to this section, which is in a smaller font. Now in phases 2, 3, 4, and 5, this section comprises 3 pages, 1, 2, and 3. It is at this section that you now teach the color book. So by the time the children are reading the color book, they will have completed all of these pages in the activity book. That means that by the time they read the color book, they will be familiar, very familiar, with all of the new words in the book. These 3 pages take you step by step for teaching the color book. First, there's a section called Creating the Atmosphere. In Creating the Atmosphere, you create, or you bring out, you remind the children of what we call prior knowledge. In order to understand what you read, it's not just a question of decoding the words, but also understanding the meaning. And to understand the meaning of words, one has to understand something about the context of the story, which means that one has to have some prior knowledge. Like this story is about a little girl with a backpack. You have to know something about backpacks. And she and her father go shopping.
well, you'd have to know something about going shopping. So to access that knowledge before reading the book, we have this section called Creating the Atmosphere. Then there's a section called Introducing the Book. In this section called Introducing the Book, we are not yet reading the book. Rather, we go through one page or a two-page spread at a time, and we talk about that page or a set of pages with the children and ask them some questions and point out some aspects of the text. After introducing the book, the next section is quickly reviewing some of the words and then actually reading the book. And we give you 3 different systems to read the book, 2 different phonics systems, and a guided reading system. That's when the children are actually reading the book. Then we have follow-up activities, reviewing the words, talking about the characters' feelings, talking about most important words, making thought pictures, and then we have finding answers, both factual questions and inferential questions. Now the child has not only read the book, but really has a deep understanding of the book. At that point, the child reads the book again. So we've gone through the book now 3 times. Once to introduce it, once to read it, and now we're going through it a 3rd time where the child is reading it with fluency and expression. It's at this point that we recommend you using the magic pen. The magic pen, which you turn on just by pressing this top button until a blue light comes on and it makes a sound. You then press the start arrow.
The red and tan path.
It will come up automatically in English, and it gives a model for the children of fluent expressive reading.
Dad put the carrots in a pot. I put the sack on a mat.
By giving the children a model like that, it really helps them in their own reading. Of course, that can be particularly helpful for children who have English as a second language and may be struggling with pronunciation and inflection. Now, after using the pen in English to help the children read, then you can have the pen used as a reward time and as a time for expanding the story. Every page in every book has at least 2 sound spots.
I love helping at the temple. It is lots of fun to help.
You're doing a good job, Sita.
Where the children are expanding on the story. Now, what's really nice about this is that the vocabulary in the pictures is much more advanced than the vocabulary in the text. So by using the pen for the pictures, you're helping the children expand their spoken English knowledge. You're also really getting another story within the story. And it gives you, as the parent or the teacher, an opportunity to discuss a lot more. Also, as a reward, you can always have the children listen to the story in other languages, which can be a lot of fun.
Telugu.
నాన్న క్యారెట్స్ ను ఒక గిన్నెలో పెట్టారు. నేను మూటను చాప మీద పెట్టాను.
Now, of course, the other languages are also very useful for children who have those as their native languages to deepen their understanding of the story. They can hear the story in their native language, and they can hear the story in English. These other languages are also useful for children who want to learn other languages and become familiar with them. An additional thing you can do is have the children make their own recordings into the books. So to do this, again, you turn it on, touch the start arrow.
The red and tan path.
Then this middle button switches to record mode, which is red. You then hold down the bottom button.
Record.
Dad put the carrots in a pot. I put the sack on a mat. Wait a few seconds, let go. Then with it still in red, you can touch.
Dad put the carrots in a pot. I put the sack on a mat.
And if you want to go back to the original recording, you just push this back to blue.
The red and tan path. Dad put the carrots
And
in
then
a
you can
pot.
hear it again.
I put the sack on a mat.
With the original recording. And you can make as many recordings as you want, and it doesn't go over the original recording. So that's a really nice time when we come to this point in the activity books. Each child should now read the book out loud with fluency and expression. That's especially the time we recommend using the magic pen. We then have a section here called Further Activities. You don't need to do any of them, but they're what we call cross-curricular. they link the reading book, they link the story, they link the activities to things maybe in art or music or science or geography or history or philosophy or scripture or things of that nature. And they're really a lot of fun if you decide to do them. Then at the end of the book, there's activities that follow up on the book itself. Now let's take a look at this for phase 3, and we'll see the same pattern. Here we have a phase 3 book. You see we start off with the word families. Here's instructions how to teach the word families. Then there's activities for learning the new sounds, or what's to say, practicing the new sounds you've just learned here. These activities, in every activity book, they go from easy to harder within the book itself. We also have a variety of activities so that the activities change slightly from one book to the next. We have some repetition of activities and some changing of activities. So here again, they're practicing in this phase 3 book, the new word families, the new sounds. This is more practice. And here we have our tricky word. Our tricky word for this book is her. Now in this book we didn't have any grammar or spelling. Then again we come to our teaching the color book pages. So here we have same pattern. Creating the atmosphere. Introducing the book, which again is not reading. Quick review of words. Then the actual reading of the book. Then word review exercises, keystone word, thought pictures, finding answers, then reading the book with fluency, with the pen, and further activities. And then here you can see very clearly that there's activities from the book. These are pictures from the book. So we have this picture in the book is matching this exercise. So these are then follow-up activities from the color book. They therefore expand the understanding of the color book. And sometimes we also have some things here that are not directly from the book, just like this, which are more advanced. And these are also not directly from this book, they're simply more advanced. So we have here 2 pages from the book, follow-up specifically from the book, and then some more advanced work. Sometimes the last part is only from the book. So that's an example of phase 3. Now again, each book gets slightly harder than the book before it. Each book is introducing new phonics patterns, and each book has more advanced vocabulary patterns, sentence structure patterns, relation of sentence of text to pictures, font size, font type, the grammatical constructions used, etc. Let's take a look now at phase 4. And in phase 4, we're going to see again the same pattern. Here is our word family. Now this is a little interesting. Here's a little extra teaching page to help teach the word family, because we're going on to a new kind of pattern. Instructions for how to teach the family and the word family. So here we see, following up with the word families, more activities, and here's our tricky word page for have and some. This is instructions for how to teach. On every page, there's instructions for how to teach it. Every page has these teaching instructions. Okay, here's another tricky word page. Again, a variety of activities. And again, we come to the color book pages. Creating the atmosphere, introducing the book, reviewing the words, reading the book. Exactly the same pattern. And then again, follow-up activities with pictures from the book. In this case, all the ending pages are directly from the color book, expanding upon it. Going on to phase 5, we're going to see a very slight change. The same pattern remains the same. Word family pages, word family activities, mixed with some tricky word activities, with perhaps some grammar and spelling activities. then going to read the color book, then follow up from the color book. Those are your basic pattern. Here's a phase 5. So again, we find the word families and instructions for how to teach the word families. And again, we find instructions, teaching instructions and pages that solidify the word families. But look, we're having a lot more reading in the activity book now. So now that the children can really read well, we're starting to have little short stories and even some longer stories. Here's a whole other story in the activity book. Now we've given some follow-up, some things to do with this story in the activity book, but you as the parent or teacher might decide that you could do a lot more with these stories that are in the white book. Now we come to the book teaching pages. Here there's somewhat of a difference. Again, we have the creating the atmosphere. Again, we have introducing the book. Now reading the book is also going page by page. So you're going to be going through the book page by page with the students. It gives you page by page instructions for introducing it and page by page instructions for reading it. We now also at phase 5 start having different activities with reading the books. We start looking at what we call text characteristics, which is a more advanced concept. Instead of just the characters' feelings, how the characters' feelings change, we're also looking at plot elements. So see, we're coming here to more advanced literary concepts. We are keeping the finding answers, fact and inferential questions, then the reading fluently, which is when you read when we advise you use the pen. You can use it other times if you want, and further activities. And again, at the end, then there's pictures and items from the book as follow-up and comprehension. And perhaps also some more advanced activities. Like in this book, we have a drama that the children can read and possibly perform. There's yet another change in phase 6. Now, as mentioned in the first part of this video, although phase 6 is also put by weeks, this is phase 6, week 4, each of the phase 6 books can really be used for much longer if you want. They can really be used for several months if you desire. So again, in phase 6, just like before, we have the word families and ways of teaching the word families. And then we have activities based on the word families. And a variety of activities, but just like in phase 5, but even more so in phase 6, there's a lot of extra stories and reading material in the activity book. And we give, again, just like in phase 5, we may give a few exercises to do based on this reading material, but you could certainly create a lot more of your own. And here you see we have something besides just the word families. Here we're teaching about similes. And here's another story. Here's a nonfiction story. Some more stories. Because at this point the children can read quite well. Here's a story with extensive exercises. And yet another story. Now we come to the color book section. And here there's yet another change. Here we're creating the atmosphere, but the introducing the book section has now been eliminated. So now we go right from creating the atmosphere to reading the book, and we're doing this again on a page-by-page basis. Okay, here's the page or 2-page spread of the color book, and here's what to talk about as you are reading it. Then you see in phase 6, we just have 2 pages. Up until this point we've had 3, now we just have 2. After reading the book, all we're going to talk about is text characteristics. Then we go through again and the child reads it fluently with the pen. Then we have further activities. And then once again, follow-up activities from the book. Now, in each box, those are boxes again, beginning, intermediate, and advanced. In each box, in the activity books, you will find something called a series manual and teaching guide. If you're an experienced teacher, this gives you quite a bit of technical information. If you're a parent wanting to know more, this gives you a lot of background. At the very least, what you want to refer to here is page 5. Suggested order and pacing in which to use the components. Now, one reason this course is so successful is that because we do activities in the activity book first before reading the color book, when the children come to read the color book, they're already able to be successful. This gives you an idea about using the talking pen here. One of the most valuable things here, especially if you want to use these series as a spelling course in addition to a reading course, is all the way at the end, we have a list of all of the word patterns, the word families and the tricky words that are used in the series. And what you can do is you can use these words as your spelling list words, making sure you use them at least a month after the children are taught the words as their reading words. We also give instruction here about how to use this as a spelling course. We give some background information on some of the stories if you're not that familiar with them. We have instructions if children are struggling. And we look at all of the different aspects of a language course. So it's always just a question of first using the activity book, then the color book, then the activity book again. The activity book to go through word families with the tricky words, any spelling and grammar exercises, then getting to the section of teaching the color book, using the pen, and finishing the activity book with the sections that relate to the color book. Each book and activity book should take approximately 1 week for a native English speaker. That means 5 days of about 30 minutes each day. If you spend a little bit less time per day, it might take a little bit longer. We really strongly advise that as long as the children are in this first box, as long as they're in this yellow box, that you make sure you have reading class at least 5 days a week. Children will forget very quickly. Once they get to about the middle of the green box, you could start cutting down the number of classes you have per week, although we don't recommend that. The children would still retain their learning. And of course, once they really get most of the phonics patterns, which will be about in the middle of the green box, at that point you can really introduce a lot of other books to the children. In addition, because all of these books are coordinated with other reading programs, it's very easy to supplement from other programs, and that way get children a lot of exposure to a lot of texts. And finally, read to children. Take books that are far more advanced than they are in, books at the same level, books under their level, the full range, and read to them often. Point as you read, not point as you read. Give them a lot of exposure to text, to pictures, and to the ideas of reading. If you do that, in addition to this program, you will very quickly have successful readers. A final point is we highly recommend that on any given day, that you end the lesson at a high point. End the lesson before the children become frustrated and bored. End the lesson while they don't want to end the lesson, while they want to have more. This gives them a good taste for reading, and then you'll be able to start the next day's lesson on a high note. In our next part, we're going to go through one of the books with a child. Hi, Karika.
Hi.
Ready to have our reading class today?
Yeah.
Okay. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to be showing a lot of people how to read, so we're going to be just doing a few pages. We're not going to do everything. And Karika's actually already done all of these books. Here we're going to be doing the book, This Is My Towel, which is from the green box. And the first thing that we do is go over the word families. O-W, ow. Say?
Ow.
O-W, ow.
Ow.
Owl.
Owl.
Howl.
Howl.
Towel.
Towel.
N-O-W, now.
Now.
C-O-W, cow.
Cow.
S-O-W, sow.
Sow.
Do you know what a sow is? A sow is a lady pig. Just like a lady cow we call a cow, and a man cow we call a bull. So with a pig actually means a boy pig, and a sow means a girl pig. What's a sow mean again?
A girl pig.
Could you tell me a sentence with the word sow?
We have pigs and sows in
We
the yard.
Oh, good. I like that. We have pigs and sows in the yard. Oh, look at this one. E-A-R, ear.
Ear.
D-E-A-R, deer.
Deer.
Can you think you can read the rest of these?
Fear. Gear. Here. Near. Tear. Year. Rear. Bread.
Mm-mm.
Beard.
Good, good, good. And what does gear mean? Do you know what
Gear in
gear
a
is?
car.
Yeah, there's a gear in a car. It like fits together like this. And gear can also mean your stuff. Like if you're going to go play tennis and you take your tennis shoes and your tennis racket and your tennis balls. All right, here we're going to be practicing finding the E-A-R sound, the ear sound. So I want you to think about what these pictures are, and I want you to circle the pictures that say ear in them. So what's this a picture of?
Fork.
Does that have ear in it? Okay, see what you can find. You circle the ones that you think have ear in them.
Why can't I draw a line?
You could draw a line too if you wanted. You can draw a line or draw a circle, whatever you like. That's very good. What's this a picture of? Whoa, you found all of them. What's this a picture of?
Year.
And this?
Ear.
This?
Queen.
No, it doesn't have ear in it, does it?
Here. Tear. Rat. Beard.
Good.
Fork.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. Now we're going to try to match the pictures to the words. Okay? Can you just first read these words for me?
Ear. Coin. Hair. Cow. Year.
And what are the pictures? What's this a picture of?
Hair.
And this?
Ear. Year. Coin. Cow.
Can you draw lines now matching? Oh, that's perfect. All right. Now, this is going to be a little tricky. To do this one, we're probably going to have to look back at our word families so that we can see how to spell stuff. All right. What is this?
We all go to the market in
What's it going to be? Wow. That's right. What does that say?
town.
Which is here's a picture of town. And you were able to do that without looking, but if you didn't know, you could have looked back at this list, right? Okay, let's go into this page. We don't need to finish this one. Now, for an exercise like this, we would have had to already have taught the students how to form the letters properly. Okay. All right, let's look at this page. Now, there's a lot of pages like this in the book, and where we're matching the sentences to a picture. Can you first read all the sentences?
A sick cow is in the barn.
Which picture does that go with? Can you draw a line, match it?
The owl sits in a bush.
Uh-huh, that's right, good. All right. Okay, now we're ready to read the book. Now we've finished all of these pages. Okay, that probably actually really took us a few days if I was teaching you. It probably didn't really take just 5 minutes like it did in this movie. But now, let's pretend we finished all these pages, all right? Which, of course, you actually did at another time. Now we're going to start
So it
reading
was
this book.
easy for me.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, this is a book. What do you think these guys are doing in this cover? Take a look at this picture. What's the name of this book?
You took my towel.
What do these guys look like they're doing there?
Hitting over a towel.
They're fighting over a towel. You ever fight with any of your brothers or sisters about anything?
Yeah.
Like what kind of things do you fight with them about? Do you ever fight with them about taking things? Or whose thing belongs to what person?
Yeah.
Now how do you solve your problems with them? What do you do to solve your problems with them when you fight?
I just walk away.
You just walk away?
I just walk away from them.
Uh-huh. Are there any other things you could do to solve your problems with them? If somebody takes your things, you can walk away. What else do you do?
Take it away from them?
You just take it away from them. What else do you do? Maybe sometimes you go to mommy and daddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This story also, we see how everything belongs to Krishna. And we know what Krishna's given us to use and what he's not. All right. Do you recognize these people from the other book? Who are they?
Ravi and Vikram.
Ravi and Vikram. Yeah, can you talk a little louder because it's hard for me to hear you.
Ravi and Vikram.
Yeah, now what's in this story could have really happened, but this isn't a true story. But it could be a true story. It's not what we call fantasy. Okay, we're going to do now...
What would we call it?
Well, we call it fiction because it's not real, but it's true to life fiction. Whereas if we had some story that couldn't be true, that would be like fantasy fiction. We're going to do now something called introducing the book. Can you find the names of the boys on this page?
Ravi, Vikram.
Yeah. What word is on this page 2 times?
Towel.
Towel. Yeah.
And my.
And my. And any other words that are here 2 times?
Said.
Said. Look at that. Okay. Can you find Ravi and Vikram in the text here again? What word is here twice?
Soap, my, and said.
Okay, my soap said. Look at that. Okay. Can you find the names of the boys again? And what else is here twice?
Socks of pair, my, and
Said.
said.
Okay, oops. What's different about this page than the other pages?
It has more, twice.
Yeah.
It has my, pair, and of, and socks.
Very
and said.
good. Okay. What are they fighting about here?
A coin.
Can you find it in the picture too? Yeah, okay. What are they fighting about here?
A fork.
A fork. All right. Now, these are the words, I hear you. Who do you think's saying that?
Dad.
How do you know that?
Say, because it looks like he's talking.
All right. Do the boys look like they want to settle their problem?
No.
No. What do you think Dad's going to do?
He's going to solve it.
He's going to solve it. Okay. Can you find the names of all the things the boys were fighting for on this page?
Towel, soap, pair of socks, coin, fork.
Oh, wow. And what's Dad asking them to do?
Put it down near Christian.
Yeah, it says it right there. Okay, we're going to stop here, but that's the way you introduce the book. Now we're going to go on to the next, so that's what's explained here in introducing the book. Now we're going to go on to the next section, quick review of words. Okay, just let's look at these words again. Here, back from our word list. Any words here that, what's this word?
Toilet.
And what's this word?
Coin.
Coil. And what's this word?
Going.
Ow.
Gown.
Good, gown. Gown is like a long dress. Okay, now.
A nightgown.
Like a nightgown. Now we're going to go through and actually...
A ball gown.
Yeah, now we're going to read the book. Now I know you already know this book, so we're just doing this for the video, but I want you to pretend you're learning it for the first time, all right? So I'm going to read and then you're going to repeat. You took my towel, said Ravi. No, this is my towel, said Vikram.
You took my towel, said Ravi. No, this is my towel, said Vikram.
You took my soap, said Ravi. No, this is my soap, said Vikram.
You took my soap, said Ravi. No, this is my soap, said Vikram.
Now suppose you had a problem with the word. Let's just pretend you were having a problem with the word, okay? So how would we do that? If I said, you took my pair of socks, and suppose you couldn't read pair, then you know what I would do?
What?
I would go P-A-I-R, P-A-I-R, A-I-R, air, P-A-I-R, pair. And then you could say pair. And that would be if we were using inductive whole word phonics. If we were using synthetic phonics, we'd go air, air, pair, pair. Okay, now we're going to pretend we finished the book. Let's look now, we're going to do now this word review exercise. Let's look at this word fighting. How did the word fight become fighting?
Because you added the ing.
Because you added the ing. Can you give me a sentence with fight?
They fight on a string.
And give me a sentence with fighting.
They're fighting on a string.
Okay. And let's look at number 10. So we could tell those characters' feelings from the picture more than from this, right? If we didn't have the picture, it'd be hard to know how they were feeling. Right?
Some books there's no pictures.
In some there's no pictures, and then we have to decide just from the words how they're feeling. Let's look still at this.
Some things we know what they're feeling.
Yeah, sometimes. Okay, what do you think is the most important?
If we already know the story.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes we just kind of have to guess how they're feeling. What do you think is the most important word on this page?
Took.
You think took? How come?
Took. I don't know. Took. I think took.
You think took, but you can't give me a reason? I think it might be my, because it's dark. What do you think? Because that's the one we're going to say louder. You took my fork.
I think it's took.
Do you? It also could be fork, because the main thing we're talking about on this page is a fork. Remember, each page we talk about something different? Like you took my coin, you took my pair of socks, you took my soap, you took my towel. So
I thought that too, because when I was saying it, I said like this.
Mm-hmm.
You took my fork.
oh, so you made fork the most important word.
I
Because
also
that was the
said-
word that was changing each time, right?
Yeah.
How many things were they fighting about? See, now we're going to the fact questions. We did the keystone word exercises. Let's do the fact questions. How many different things were they fighting about? How are you going to find that out? See if we can find
Towel.
it. Okay, let's count them.
Towel.
Yeah,
Soap.
yeah,
Coin.
uh-huh.
Pair of socks. Fork.
Good. Who settled the fight?
Settled it.
Yeah.
Oh, Dad.
And how did he do that?
He told them to go give it to Krishna.
Yeah. Why do you think the boys' mood and feelings changed after they put everything near Krishna? Let's look at their mood in this page and look at their mood here. Why do you think their feelings
Because they see
changed?
Krishna.
Because they see Krishna. That's a good idea. Do you think that now the boys will never fight anymore?
Yeah.
You think they're never going to fight anymore?
Yeah. No.
Do you think they will or they won't fight anymore?
They will.
You think they will fight again? Okay. Do you think when they were arguing, do you think they were using soft voices or loud voices?
Loud.
You think they were using loud? Do you think Dad was angry at the boys?
No.
No.
He's scared.
Okay.
He's scared that they might not see Krishna.
Oh, okay. Now, can you read the book yourself with lots of expression?
Okay. You took my towel. You took my towel. You took my towel. Seriously. This is my towel. Here's a big one. You took my soap, said Ravi. No, this is my soap, said the Vikram. You took my pair of socks, said Vikram.
Okay, very nice. We're not doing the whole thing because we're just showing people. Now we can listen to the book with the pen.
You took my towel.
Why don't you find a page you'd really like to listen to, or a picture or something?
That one is not yours. That one is mine. I keep getting mixed up with the bars I've said. I think this one is mine.
Bengali.
Okay, let's listen to some Bengali.
তুমি আমার তোয়ালে নিয়েছিলে রবি বলল
Now, after we finish reading the book, then we have activities in the activity book that are coming from the book. So here's some activities coming from the book. These are pictures from the book. Now, this is an activity. Let's just do one of these. This is an activity where we're unscrambling the sentences. So first, I would show the students how to do that. I would take a piece of paper and model it for them. So what does this say here?
Mine is towel this.
Whoa, what should it say?
This is my towel.
Okay. Can you write it? And make sure you put a period at the
No,
end.
I'm
a
going to do
full
all
stop.
them first.
Just one of them.
You fork mine.
Okay, what should that be?
You took my fork.
Good. And what about this one?
Will you how see Krishna?
Yeah, what should that be?
How will you see Krishna?
And what would go at the end of that?
A period.
I don't think so.
A period.
No.
Oh, a question mark.
Very good. Okay, now in this video, for this particular book that Kari could pick to show you, it didn't have any grammar things or tricky words, so we decided to get that from another book just to show you how to do this. So this is from another book. This is from A Chicken is Food for a Cat. And this is a grammar and spelling page. So here we use the ending. Now we usually use the ending in two ways. We use the ending to talk about a person who does something. Like this says...
Sing.
And this
Singer.
says... A singer is someone who...
Sings.
We also use ER to show something is more. Like this person is...
Thin.
And this person is
Thinner.
thinner. He's more thin. Where this pig is...
Fat.
And this pig is...
Fatter.
Right.
Longer.
Right. Now, did you see...
Bigger.
Now, did you see something about that what happened to the spelling? When I added ER to sing, did the spelling of sing change?
Spelling of sing?
Yeah.
No.
No, but what about when I added ER to fat? What happened to fat?
Called ruined.
Yeah, it got ruined. It got what? What happened to it?
We added a letter.
Yeah. Which letter did we add?
A T.
Yeah, what? And which ones of these did we add a letter? We actually call it doubling a letter. We took the letter that was at...
This.
Mm-hmm.
This.
Yeah, and these didn't, right?
Yeah.
And these did. Why do you... What are all these... What's the same about all these that we ended up doubling that last letter?
What?
Well, what's the same about fat, big, thin, run, and rob? That when we made robber or runner or thinner or bigger or fatter, we ended up doubling the last letter. But when we made singer, boxer, waiter, longer, we didn't double the last letter. What about these do you think are the same? So that we have a basic rule about how to do this. When there's a short vowel before a final consonant, we double the last consonant. Okay, let's take a look at this page, and then we're going to be done with this instruction. So this is for a tricky word. This is the word her. Can you say a sentence with the word her?
This is Mom's light. This is her light.
That's right. Okay, her is taking the place of? Mom's. Can you tell me a sentence with the word her? Can you make up your own sentence with the word her?
Her doll is pink.
Okay. We could say her dress is yellow, or I gave it to her. Can we read this one?
It is Rhoda's pet. It is her pet.
Okay.
I will pick up Sita's ball. I wait on her deck.
So what does her take the place of in each of these?
Mom's, Rhoda's, Sita's, and Sita's.
Right. And is her for a boy or a girl?
Girl.
It's for a girl. And it's instead of saying the person's name. Very good. Something that belongs to a person without saying their name. Well, thank you, Karika, for helping us teach everybody how to use the books. Can you say bye to everybody?
Bye.
Say bye to the camera. Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye myself.
Yeah. Okay.